Hi there folks, you're watching the Black Powder Shooter 44 channel. A couple days ago I made a review on the Colt Single Action Army made by Pieta and 44 cap and ball, and today I wanted to cover some of my overall impressions of the gun. As we recall the other day, it was shooting to the left somewhat, and now that I think about it, it likes 2F powder better. I remember in the past when I was shooting a lot more and shooting long range, and in fact, actually I have a video shooting at 70 yards, and I'm pretty sure I was using 2F powder, at least one of those cylinders, and it was giving me more accurate shots. So I'll have to go back to that and try that out and see what it can do with 2F versus 3F powder. Now I wanted to go over something that you need to consider if you're thinking about getting one of these guns. Let me move this out of the way real quick. And here it is. Look at it. What you need to consider is you got to take the cylinder out after each time you fire it to load it. So what you need to do, and it's like this with any Colt clone type gun, well, at least some, you got to push this set screw. You got to push this in and pull out the base pin at the same time. And it could be very difficult to take out, especially after it has fouling on it when you're shooting it. I've almost taken my whole finger off pretty much before. So you have to get one of these Colt base pin removal tools. I got this from Brownells, and you just got to have one of these. But basically all you have to do is push the set screw in and pull this pin out, and then open the loading gate, bring the hammer back slightly, and you can take the cylinder right out. And I load it off the gun with my powder incorporated cylinder loading stand, which is very rusty. Need to take care of that. And I put the powder in, and it's going to fall off the table. Don't fall. And I put it, on here, put the ball over the chamber, and ram it down. And it's just standard. It's what I do with, my Remingtons and stuff if I want to load it off the gun. So you gotta have a loading stand or some way of loading it off the gun. Now this base pin, the other day I was shooting it over a chronograph at the end of my video, and I shot a cylinder fall over. I was like, all right, maybe I'll shoot another one just to see, try a different load or something. Well, I pulled this base pin about halfway out of this hole, and it froze. It would not move, and I was pulling on it with this thing, and it just would not move. It would not budge. So I was like, all right, I'm done. So I called it a day, went home, sprayed some oil on it, and the next day, pretty sure it was the next day, I was trying to take it out again because I had to clean the gun, and I still couldn't get it. And after a while of cursing at the gun and stuff, I decided to hammer it back in with a mallet, and I was able to pull it out from there. But the thing is, this thing gets really gummed up with fouling, so you got to keep this well oiled. I've put, usually when I go shooting, I usually shoot 6 or 7 cylinders full in a cap and ball pistol. So I've done that before with no problems, really. But this last time it was giving me some issues. So that's something to keep in mind, to deal with that. And getting the cylinder getting the cylinder in and out could be a little bit of a pain lining it back up. Like, I'm going to put the cylinder back in, pretend I loaded the gun up. And another thing, don't cap it before you put it back in, because you'll see why in a second. Basically, it's a little hard doing it if it's not facing me. I'm going to put the gun at half cock. I put it in there, and I close the loading gate. Now I'm going to want to push this rod back in. I'm going to have to turn this gun around so you can see what's going on. It's going to be a little difficult to do on a camera, so it might look a little clumsy. So I got it started, right? So now when you push it in, it starts to get stuck. about right here, and it takes some finagling to get it to actually line up with the hole. And it's clean right now, so it's moving a lot nicer. And another thing is you can push it too far in, and you want it to where that last little ring that the tool could fit in to be sticking out, because you could push it in too far. You see right there, I don't know if you can see that, I pushed it in too far, and you're not going to be able to get that out. So if you ever do that by mistake, it's not really a big deal, but if you have the gun capped up, which is why I said don't cap it up before, you're going to have a problem, because what you could do is put the gun in full cock. Basically, you have to push the pin back in, I'll let the hammer down, and it's going to push out the pin to the correct distance. But if you have a capped gun, that would be potentially dangerous. So you don't want to do that. So now you have the gun loaded back in the cylinder loaded back in the gun. You open the loading gate and put in your percussion caps. So that's something I want to tell you about. That's the biggest thing to consider and to know about. I never really thought about it before I got this gun. That's something you have to keep in mind. It may not bother you, and maybe it does. One other thing. Or a couple other things actually, but the ejector rod is completely useless. Like I said the other day that the loading gate was useless, that's only half true because you can put percussion caps on that way. But the ejector rod is absolutely nothing. It lines up just like, it goes right into the chamber like there's a cartridge, like you're trying to eject a cartridge from a cartridge model, Colt Single Action Army. But it just really does nothing. It just catches rust and stuff. But it's not a big deal, because if it didn't have it, it would look kind of weird. I personally think. It's obviously not historically accurate. It's made for the European market. Still a good gun. I really like it. If I shoot cap and ball quite a bit, so having a cap and ball version of the Colt Single Action Army is good because I have the powder and the projectiles for it, and it's not really a big deal. The prices for these, you can see, I'll just hold this up. These generally run around $360 at Dixie Gun Works or other retailers like that for a 5.5-inch model. I think a 4 3/4-inch model is also available. I'm not totally sure about the long barrel model. I'll check the EMF company or Taylor's and Company, see if they have it. Bottom line, I would recommend the gun. Just you got to know what you're getting into when you're getting into this gun. So, and another thing, I was checking the GoPro footage the other day from my video, and one of the videos it was upside down for some reason. So I didn't include that in the review. And I was just looking at it before because I was trying to clear some room on the memory card, and I had another video where it was fine. It wasn't upside down. So we'll close out the video of that, some footage of shooting shaving cream with the GoPro. But all in all, it's a good gun. I like it. It's a little more difficult to clean, I'll say that, with black powder because there's a lot more crevices and stuff. That's not really a big deal. So that being said, I would recommend the gun, bottom line. And it's a lot of fun to shoot. So if you ever come across one and you want to get it, hey, get it if you like it. So thanks for watching, folks. If you liked the video, please leave a like. Please leave a comment down below. And until next time, have a great day.